I remember my grandmother telling me, motherfuckers put the heat up to 100 in the crib. It's time for you to get the hell out.
Money, cars, clothes, hoes, soul a nigga.
Joining in for another episode of Run It Back. This episode is not going to be short of anything what we had in the past. You know what I mean? So get your popcorn, your drink, sit down. This is a great history lesson. Everybody that's pretty much on this seat right here have great stories, have a great history, their path, their journey has been spectacular. And we're not going to go short this week. So we're going to be joined this week, the author of the book, Heirs of the Great Migration, and he's also a professor at San Diego State University. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome none other than Mr. Manny Wright, who made his imprint from Waterbury, Connecticut at Wilby High School. Stay tuned, y'all. I'm glad you're on the show. This is like a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell everybody, sitting here talking with the guests that we bring on, it's like a huge history lesson that the city gets to, you know what I'm saying, tune into, being that this is a basketball town. And then, you know, so many great basketball players have come through the city, left their imprint. But the great thing about it is a lot of players go on to do great things. You know what I'm saying? So when we have the opportunity to talk to individuals that kind of like went through the journey, left their mark, set their own path and followed it, and able to come back and share some of the gems with the younger youth, you know what I'm saying? Even, you know, we can uplift some of the ones, you know what I'm saying, that we grew up with, you know what I mean? Just on our journey alone, you know, I have to, you know, utilize the time to take the opportunity to, you know, to capture that. And this is one of those times where, you know, somebody from the city left their imprint on the hardwood and, you know, went on his own journey and kind of like spread his wings, and now coming back full circle, you know, it's a blessing, man. I thank you for, you know, for all that you've done and, you know, actually just kind of like blessing us with your presence today, my brother.
Yo, I appreciate it, man. It's my pleasure to be here, and you know, as you kind of alluded to, you know, I'm here just promoting the book, Heirs of the Great Migration: How the Past Became the Future, and you know, I had to come when you asked me to come through, because I caught a couple of episodes, and you know, so it's an honor to be here to talk about my, you know, my memories of Waterbury basketball and my participation.
Nice. Thank you, man. Thank you. So, you know, let's just, you know, pretty much jump right into it. So, like, early on, like, what was life like early on for you? Like, you know, the early introduction to sports, you know, what was the early days? I mean, what was that like?
Well, you know, growing up in Waterbury, man, like sports was everything. Like, you know, all the kids in the hood is athletic. You know, kids running fast, jumping, doing flips, and all that kind of stuff. So the athleticism was always there. It's just that, you know, we had to figure out a way to channel it. And so for me, you know, the boys club and the local parks and stuff like that played a big role in helping us channel our energies and our athleticism. So, you know, like I remember at a young age going to the boys club with a lot of my older cousins, and that's where the start. That was the start of, you know, my love and infatuation with basketball. You know? Okay, because I seen, you know, in your book you kind of said from the age of 6 or 7 you started making your way to the boys club. You know, we all know the boys club. You're doing everything. You know, it's funny because, like, you know, boys club had boxing back then.
Karate.
So So I had a moment with boxing at the boys club.
Okay.
I had a moment with and basically boxing I did there, and I did in basketball.
Okay.
And I wasn't really, you know, at that age I wasn't really like hooked on either. You know what I'm saying? Like it just was something that I did, and a lot of it was just my cousins. I was following the influence of my cousins.
Okay.
So if we went into the boxing and they put the gloves on, then that's what I had to do.
I'm doing it too.
You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't no, you know, this is what we doing. Put the gloves on.
Yeah.
And the same with the basketball. It's like this is what we doing. okay, you playing with us, and then that's what it was. So before, I'm not old enough to really make my own decisions. I'm just being led by my 10, 11, 12-year-old cousins. You know?
Got you. So you said, so when at some point did you start to kind of like lean towards more consistent basketball play?
Probably, no question, probably around, let's see. I would say when we moved to Bishop Street, when I moved to Bishop Street, I lived at 331 Bishop, the top of Bishop, on the corner of Bishop and Pine. That 3-family house is no longer there.
Okay.
But across the street from Fulton Park, and so there was a way where you could cut through the park and get to the back side of Columbia Boulevard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's Chauncey Street or something. So that you would cut through Fulton and then be on Cook and then hit that little hill right there, and then you'd be in the back of Columbia Boulevard. So it was like a 10-minute walk for me to get to Columbia Boulevard.
Yep.
So I started at a young age going up to Columbia Boulevard, watching the games. Man.
That's the Pearl Street.
Oh man,
that's the Pearl Street area right there.
So the Pearl Street, back then I get chills just thinking about it because, when the first time I walked in that gym with rubber floors, you know what I'm saying, and like that it was crazy. It was a crazy shaped gym. It was a unique gym, had rubber floors, and man, you talk about the absolute baddest ballers that you could ever see, man. And so like it's a shame that stuff didn't get caught on film.
Right.
But that was really what did it for me, just seeing those guys in there and the ladies too, balling out,
And it's funny you say that because a lot of those guys playing in Pro Street become legends on high school and so forth. And even back then, people from New Haven, different cities, and some from New York was coming to play in the Pro Street basketball league.
Yeah, Pearl Street was pulling them from all. They were pulling them in from all over.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Waterbury.
Right.
You had you had semi-pros and you had pros that was coming into Waterbury. So you had the different divisions.
Yeah.
So you had like mini phase. I was a mini phase. I played mini phase. Actually, I think your cousin Proof was my coach.
Cousin Proof.
The first coach I ever had in life was your cousin.
Okay.
Proof, I'm telling you, Proof was like one of the best coaches, if not the best coach I ever had. Proof don't get his props. I'm giving Proof his flowers right now because that man understood basketball. He understood how to use the talent that we had, and we won a championship. I was on that. I think it was childcare. I was on that childcare team that won the championship. Squirt was on that team too, by the way.
Driz maybe?
Nah, it was Squirt. I don't think it was Driz. Squirt was the star. I just remember him. I think Jamel Fuller was on that team.
Okay.
I was coming off the bench. Those dudes was on the next level. We smashed everybody.
Really?
Yeah, we smashed everybody in mini phase. But you had the different phases, right? You had mini phase, you had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So, phase 3 was like the college players and like the pros who would come and play. And some of the high school players would play phase 3. So Phil was a mainstay on phase.
Oh, Phil was.
Phil Lott, yeah. He was a mainstay on phase 3.
Yeah, because I think even when he was
in high school, playing phase 3. He was so everybody didn't play phase 3. Like I said, it was like a lot of the college guys and pros. Yeah. And the high school guys, that was phase 2 and I think maybe phase 1. But it wasn't, the phase 3 was the pros. The pros. Or those trying to become pro. Right. So for a high school guy to play phase 3,
so he was playing up.
He was playing up. Yeah, he's playing up. Like Phil, I remember Phil, like, I don't want to be jumping around, but like, just a story, man, that needs to be told. Phil dunking on then Cliff Robinson from UConn. Yeah, it's a story happened at Westside. Wow. So this is a phase 3 game. Phil's in high school. Cliff Robinson, who ended up playing for the Portland Trailblazers, was a upperclassman at UConn at this time. Okay. 6'11" guy. Yeah. Phil's in high school, dunks it on.
Wow. Dunks it on him. Wow.
So that Pearl Street was really the thing that made me say, man, I want to play basketball.
Yeah. And it had that, like the moniker, Swishes the Summer Sound, that you had to have one. If you was a baller, you had to have that shirt.
I mean, yeah, that was like, that was like the FUBU shirt for us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was
Sure.
that was like everybody wore those. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it was. They had all colors, all flavors. They had a great brand, man. Pearl Street had a great brand.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame that it didn't kind of keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because like these kids right here, I mean, obviously, we got AAU and everything now that, pull a lot of kids away, but like just to say like Pearl Street, the league that we had back then, that was awesome. Because it even, like you said, it brought people to Waterbury too.
Right.
And
it put Waterbury on the map. Like I remember I used to work at Pearl Street. I worked there, like as a young kid, I don't know, 12, 13 or something like that, sweeping the floors, selling chips, running the clock for the games. I was a little kid working there. And so some of the perks in that was I would go travel when we would go to New York or something to play in the games in New York. And so I would see like the high level guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that Pearl Street was sent to these tournaments in New York City. So, Pearl Street was serious, man. Like it's unfortunate that history didn't get filmed.
Yeah, for sure. So, we can look back on that, you know what I mean? So you play Pearl Street.
Mm-hmm.
Now did you play grammar school, middle school ball?
Yeah, yep. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I played a lot of ball, man. I played in the I guess it was the PAL League back then. So it was like I played for a team called Anaconda. You know how you have like different sponsors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anaconda is, I guess, a manufacturer or like a factory or something. They sponsored the team that I was on. So it was AABC. I think that's the first team I ever played on. But we had orange, like the ugliest orange. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got that.
He said the ugliest orange.
Right, so, but yeah, we had orange jerseys. I remember that was like the first team I played on. I was probably in third or fourth grade. And then I started playing when I got to Sacred Heart Grammar School. We had the 5th and 6th, and then the 7th and 8th grade teams.
Okay.
So I started playing, like for real, like 5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th grade. Okay. Now, do you remember any of the players you played with at that time?
Yeah. For Anaconda, I don't remember. I know Barry Pringle, but I don't know if he was on my team or if he was on one of the other teams. But I have vague memories of that. But like Sacred Heart Grammar School, the players I played with there were Will Wilson, Tommy Mason.
Okay, yeah.
Harvey Potts was on that team with us too.
Oh, Harv.
Yeah, Harv was on that team.
Wow.
With us. Yeah. And I think those probably, and Daryl Brown played for Sacred Heart. I think so. Out of the guys who ended up playing high school basketball, I think it was Will Wilson, Daryl Brown. They both played at Sacred Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey Potts
Crosby.
with Crosby.
Okay.
Myself, I went to Wilby. But we were all on Sacred Heart together, 5th and 6th or 7th and 8th.
Oh wow. Okay. Nice. Wow. Now at that time you still playing at the boys club, and did you follow Pearl Street?
Yeah.
At that age
Man,
too?
listen, I'm at Pearl Street in the summer every day.
Okay.
Every day. That's all that's what we did. That's what I did. So I'm still playing Pearl Street. I'm still 56, of course. I'm playing at any park that wherever there's a basketball and there's a park, because the parks were jumping back.
Oh yeah.
So you had the North End Rec, you had back then you had like City Mills, which was
City Mills.
You had City Mills, you had the North End Rec, you had
Fulton Park at one point.
Fulton Park was
because they had the both.
They had the 2 full courts.
Yeah, 2 full courts.
Yeah.
They used to be jumping back then.
Yeah, it would be exactly. It would be jumping out there. So yeah, I was always up there because I lived across the street.
Okay.
In Fulton, so I was always there. I was always either Fulton. I spent a lot of time down in North End Rec. Later, as I got older, it was Waterville Park, Lakewood Park. But all the parks, the park circuit.
The park circuit for sure. So would you guys say that your Sacred Heart squad pretty decent team, or? Was that the parochial league?
That was the parochial league. Yeah.
Okay.
So, the middle school leagues, to be clear, were head and shoulders above the parochial league back then, I think. And,
Yeah.
and they, at least in the time that I was playing.
Yes.
You know, North End and West Side and Wallace, those teams, man, they would have,
Yeah.
they would have been, So they were a lot more talent, a bigger pool of talent.
Okay.
And but the Parochial League has some good teams. I remember St. Anne's had a team. They had a bunch of like 6-footers, man, and we like in 7th grade, man. They got like three, like a triplet set of twin towers. It was Jamie Ward, and they probably not even that big no more. But
back then, yeah,
they was big. They was blocking shots, and they was, so they had 3 of them. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But St. Anne's had like a set of twin towers plus 1.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were memorable because they were really good. And Willie White was their coach.
Willie White.
Willie White? Yeah.
Willie White was, yes.
Yeah.
He was around.
Yeah.
He'd go to the parks, he'd go to the Rex. Willie White was around.
He was. He used to ref a lot of the games, and he was a mentor for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball. He was just one of those guys, man.
He's a great guy, too. Yeah. So from Sacred Heart, how do you, what's your thought process on, what high school you plan on going to? Did you consider Sacred Heart high school, or, where was your mindset once you finished, middle school?
So my cousin Derek Pruden was at Sacred Heart. We were at Sacred Heart Grammar together.
Okay.
And so, but he was a few years older than me. So I think when I was in 5th grade, he graduated. It's like he was already gone. So he went to Sacred Heart High School. So we had a few years together at Sacred Heart Grammar together. And so, of course, my mother and my family wanted me to go to Sacred Heart High School. My cousin Derek was there. And, I just, trouble just seemed to follow me when I was in public school. So that's why I ended up going to Sacred Heart, because I was getting in a lot of trouble in public schools at a young age. Okay. So my mom was like, okay, enough of this.
Yeah.
So I was en route to Sacred Heart High School, but that didn't happen, and I ended up going to Wilby. Best decision I ever made.
Really?
Yeah, the best decision I ever made. And it's the school I always wanted to go to. I wanted to go to Wilby.
Oh, you wanted to go to Wilby?
Yeah, I wanted to go. My mother didn't want me to go. But, back then, Wilby and Crosby, in that time, they were the 2 juggernauts in the city.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? At that time, like Sacred Heart a few years before, and then it was Wilby and Crosby, and then right after that, it seemed like Holy Cross ascended.
Yes.
And that was the thing about the city. It was like any given year, like one team.
Somebody can emerge.
Yeah. So, but at that time, like I was infatuated with Wilby because to me, Wilby had the best player.
Okay.
They probably didn't have the best team.
Right.
They had the best player in the city. It was clear.
The best player.
Phil.
At that time, Phil.
It was Phil. I'm telling you, I seen it with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? And so I seen all of them. I seen all of these guys. This is not a knock on anybody.
Yeah.
This is just because, Waterbury basketball at that time was serious.
Okay.
And so guys was working out and working hard and trying to get better. Everybody was working out. Like that's just what it was. You couldn't get on the court if you wasn't good. Right. You couldn't get on one of these teams unless you was good.
Had to be. Right.
And so it's to me it just says a lot about Phil. Phil was different, man.
With this Phil, you know what I'm saying? At that time, realizing he's like, this dude's like the best in the city. Is there any moments that or any games that you recall when you see him like, he's, where it was kind of like just, the writing in this, in stone that this dude is above everybody.
Man, Phil, if you see Phil's any of his reels, like any of his tapes, Phil was a highlight reel, man. He just was a highlight reel. So I'm not talking about behind the back passes, and, dribble behind the leg. He was stupid, man. It was stupid what he was doing. But there's two things that come to mind right now with that question. So there was a game against Sacred Heart where they played my cousin Derek. This was Phil's senior year. My cousin Derek Pruden was the point guard at Sacred Heart at the time. Phil scored 63 points and Derek scored 56. That's one thing. And then another thing I remember, I don't want to say on who he dunked on because the dude is, I'm cool with the dude. I don't want to blow him up. But I'll say the school. I'll say the school. And then, you know, people could guess. About who that might have been. I'll say it was Kaner Tech and it wasn't Rufus.
Okay.
It wasn't Rufus Freeman.
It wasn't Rufus.
It wasn't Rufus. Man, Phil power dunked on this dude so hard. It was like, yo. And I'm in the bleachers and I'm like, and I'm seeing it coming. I'm seeing it happen in slow motion. And Phil was nasty, man. He was disrespectful, man. He was just, for real, he was terrible, man. He was terrible, bro.
Wow.
He dunked on this dude so hard. It was almost like he kicked him in the chest. I might be exaggerating. You know what I'm saying? It might have didn't happen this way. But it was just so filthy.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it was so filthy, man. I'm telling you, that's the one play that I remember, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. But he used to try to, if he could embarrass you,
He's gonna do it.
he was gonna do it. And then he was gonna tell you how embarrassing it was what he just did to you.
Wow.
He was terrible, man.
Oh man, I can only imagine, you know. I've seen a lot of highlights, you know what I'm saying, and you know, as a youngster, you know, going to the games with like my uncles or something like that, or my cousins, you know, you get to see little glimpses like that. But you know, when I was going through it, didn't really know exactly what I was seeing. You know what I mean? Just know I'm, you know, seeing people run up and down the court. You know what I'm saying? But as you look at it now, I'm like, oh, I remember seeing that. Like, and then you talking to you guys, the story behind some of these things is like, wow, incredible. So you go to Wilby. Now, do you feel like you have something to prove to get on the, you know, the basketball team, or you know, what's your thought behind that going off of the Wilby team?
So I think there was a buzz about me coming to Wilby. You know, there was a buzz. There was a buzz about, you know, me coming to Wilby. You know, some people liked this and some people didn't, because it meant that, you know, I'm going to be competing for somebody's spot.
Gotcha.
You know, I never thought that I wouldn't make the team. I never thought nothing like that.
Okay.
I just didn't know, you know, obviously you just don't know. But I knew I was good enough to play.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know, you know, I didn't know. But I was never worried that I wouldn't make the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your freshman year, are you playing freshman, JV, varsity, or?
Nah, my freshman year, I'm playing freshman and JV.
Okay.
And you know, and when I got there, Wilby was stacked. Wilby was stacked, man. I got there Phil's senior year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So my freshman year is his senior year. So I didn't even dress varsity.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I was the leading scorer on our freshman team.
Okay.
I was the leading scorer on my freshman team, and I played some JV. You know, came off the bench for the JV squad.
I can imagine even the JV squads had to be kind of
JV
deep
squad
too.
was loaded, man. The thing about it was we had a bunch of guards. You know what I'm saying? We had a bunch of point guards, but that's just where the talent pool was.
Yeah.
You know, just had a bunch of guards who could dribble and some that could shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and we ran everybody off the court. You know. So yeah. But yeah, my freshman year we were competitive. Like, so that was also Jerome Malloy's freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
That was also Rob Paternostro's freshman year at Holy Cross. We were battling with these guys, like, you know, Jerome at Kennedy.
Yeah.
But Jerome was playing, I don't even know what Jerome definitely was playing varsity.
His freshman year.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, he was, matter of fact, he is the only one from my freshman class. Haram was part of that freshman class too.
Mm-hmm.
Haram might have been playing varsity. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I know Jerome was, and Jerome might have been starting.
Wow.
Yeah, Jerome was different too, man.
And Jerome was a guard, right?
He was a guard. Yeah, he was. Even though he was about 6'4", he was a guard. Yeah, Jerome was nice.
Wow.
Jerome was nice. He was part of that crop of boys club cats with us. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he was part of that crop of young up and coming.
Yeah.
You know, he was right at the top. But Squirt was at the top.
Squirt was at the top then.
Top dog. No question.
You know, we talk about like some of the point guards that came through the city, man, and everybody, you know, at that guard position was like, yo, Squirt,
It's not a lie.
When I talked to Squirt, man, he said he's like N1 before his N1.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. He was. That's a good
He's
analogy.
N1 before N1.
Bro, listen, man. I don't know how this dude was. I used to be with him all the time. I used to see him all the time. And every time I see him, he was doing something different. I'm like, bro, where you get that from? How you doing that? How you dribbling the ball off your knee?
Yeah.
How you doing that, man? how we 11 years old, right? How we 9, 10, 11 years old, man, and you dribbling the ball through your legs and one hand dribbles and you cross it. How you doing that, man? We all grew up together. How you doing this?
Yeah.
Who's teaching you this, man?
Who's teaching you? Yeah, man. But he was special, man.
Yeah, no
Squirt was
doubt.
special.
No doubt. And he got better every year.
Every
as
year.
He got, as his body, he grew into his body and got his, his young man strength.
Yeah.
I seen it, man. I seen the evolution of Squirt, man.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the things about the '92 Wilby team that a lot of people don't know,
Okay.
and that was a nightmare that a lot of people don't know that was about to happen. So Squirt was enrolled at Wilby at the start of the 91-92 school year. He was at Wilby with us.
So that's your senior year.
That's my senior year. And he was eligible. And he was eligible to play 1 year. He had 1 year eligibility, I think. I'm almost sure he had 1 year. He had 1 year. I don't think it was 2. I think he had 1 year eligibility. And so we, it's like that team we already destined to win the NBL in the city. It's just a matter of whether we're going to sweep or not.
Okay.
We not losing the NBL.
You ain't losing.
That year. Nah. And we one of the preseason picks to win the state championship, Class L.
Okay.
So now he comes to Wilby, and it's like me and Mark, we go to Reg and like, look, this our ball handler.
Okay.
We rolling with him. This our guy. This the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because Squirt, it wasn't nothing for me to acknowledge how much Squirt would have brought to the team.
Gotcha.
It wasn't even a pride thing or nothing. Like, even as a kid back then, I was like, yo, this dude is different. Like, we gonna kill the league. We gonna kill the state with this dude on our team. Like, this 3-guard tandem is gonna be a nightmare.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Reg was on board, Mark was on board, and I was leading the charge. I was like, yo, this what we this what we gotta have this. And so unfortunately, before the season started, he ended up getting some trouble, and then he never made it to the team, man. He never made it on that team with us.
Wow.
But
just imagine if he was on that squad. Ooh.
Yo, man.
He was special.
Yeah, man. He was.
So your freshman year, you dressing for JV. The freshman team was pretty good.
No, we was good. We was
pretty good.
we was pretty good.
Okay. Now going into your sophomore year, how many of those that is moving up?
Okay, so this is where it gets tricky.
Okay.
Because my sophomore year, I didn't go to school. I decided that I wanted to hang out in the streets and whatnot. So I didn't go to school. I didn't play basketball my sophomore year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't play. So I missed my whole sophomore year, and then when I came back to school, I had to repeat my sophomore year. But because I was young enough, I was still eligible to play all 4 years. So remember, I told you I came in with Jerome.
Yes.
And Rob and Haran, but I didn't graduate with them. That was the class of '91. I graduated the class of '92.
Oh, okay.
So I missed my whole second year of high school. I didn't go to school, and I didn't play basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's the so you got caught kind of right in the BC AC era.
Yeah.
Before crack, after crack, you
Absolutely.
caught right in that era.
Yeah, that coincides with it. That was the decision to not go to school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like we was outside.
Mm-hmm.
We was outside, and then that's what we thought we we needed to do. Or some of us, I was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to do.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now, at any point while you're not in school, are you still balling a little bit, or?
Yeah. I'm still playing it like in the parks and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly just like trying to be. I'm trying to get a car. I'm trying to get jewelry. I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
do all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for all you kids out there, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It might be enticing, and you know what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm an example of someone who did something and was able to, you know, to flip the script. But you know, at the time, I just thought that was the thing to do. I mean, I'll make no apologies and I'll have no regrets.
Right.
But it's just what it is. That's just what it was.
Got you.
You know, but luckily, you know what I'm saying? Like I got jammed up. I got caught up in a situation, and that situation allowed for me to return back to school, and then continue playing.
So how much did you add to the team in terms of your output?
My sophomore year,
Yeah.
I averaged 10 points that year.
Okay.
I averaged 10 points coming off the bench my sophomore year.
Okay.
And so I added a lot. I don't know how many assists, but I definitely came in and scored. And it was always, I thought it was instant. It was like, I came in hungry.
Yeah.
I came in with something to prove. I felt like I should be starting.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I came in with a little chip on my shoulder.
So back then, or even, you know, for years, you know what I'm saying, Wilby and Crosby was always known as that big game.
Mm-hmm.
So on this particular day, Wilby and Crosby played. The score was 95-91, Wilby. You had 12, and you scored the last 4 points with under a minute of the game to put y'all up.
What?
Yeah. In that game, that was your sophomore year.
Yeah. Wow.
So you had Ant Banks who led everything. He had 24 and Cassie had 22, and they were seniors.
Yeah.
But the fact that Reg trusted you in those moments, that obviously that was a close game, 95-91. You guys, y'all pretty much edged Crosby out.
Oh, that's damn.
And would you say? Well, I mean, obviously, even when we was talking, like going into like your junior year, how you felt like your sophomore year, they didn't really see you coming.
Mm-mm.
But Reg, it seemed like he had confidence in you.
Reg knew what it was.
He knew what it was.
Yeah.
And there's one thing he quoted too. Let me just read it. This is Coach Reg O'Brien. This is actually when you got Player of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
At this point now, he said he's really come on. This is your junior year. Last year he had some big games, especially one against Holy Cross. He's been a good, consistent player this year. He's improved on his shooting and has been working hard on his defense. He's getting to be a little bit more team-oriented. Plus, he's a good ball handler. I think he's going to do, great things. He works well with our other guard, Marcus.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. Yeah.
In the beginning of the season, people picked us for 4th or 5th in the league.
Yeah.
But Manny is one of the reasons we're 6-1.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That's big. How would you say your style of play was?
We was like a break.
Y'all kind of like fed off of.
Constant aggression.
Yeah.
Yo, you said, well, how did we prepare?
Yeah.
So our preparation, we were close knit. Like a lot of us hung out together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We did stuff together. We went to parties together. We hung at each other's house. We did a lot of stuff together.
Okay.
So we built a lot of camaraderie, man, and that was real intentional. You know what I'm saying? And so we were friends, man, and we really liked each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we ran cross country in the summer.
In the summer?
Not the summer. I'm
So
sorry.
like right before basketball.
Right before basketball season. So that was like something that you had to do. If you were
That's
playing,
a huge advantage too.
yeah, if you're playing on our team, you had to run cross country. Unless you were playing football, then maybe be some concessions. But the basketball team ran cross country.
That's like Coach Reg O'Brien said, no, you got to run cross country.
Yeah, Reg was the cross country coach.
Okay. Oh,
He was
he's the cross
He's
country
the cross country coach. He's
So,
the track
so
coach,
you coming out for the basketball
coach.
team? I better see you at cross country.
Yeah, there is no such thing as the coach is gonna let me know if you didn't show up. I'm the coach. I'm gonna know if you're gonna show up. But we had edge, and he didn't try to take that away from us. You know what I'm saying? And so people misinterpreted that or read that to be something that it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So they always tried to dog us out and not give us our props.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, we was always prepared. We was always in shape, ready to run, and we was running folks off the court.
Yeah.
And part of it is because we was disciplined because we ran cross country, and a lot of us ran track. You know what I'm saying? Because Reg was the track coach too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, so, and then you hear he was a coach at what, Post, I think,
He was the post coach, the coach at Post.
or Philly now.
No, before Wilby.
Yeah, before Wilby.
Right.
So it's like almost like, I got to get these guys running. That way they can play however they want to play.
Yeah.
Like, so you got the energy to keep going.
Right. Right. Because that was what he wanted. That was his style. That was his style of play. Like,
Yeah.
just constant pressure, and so yeah, there's a lot of misnomers about Reg that he didn't coach or whatever.
Right.
Reg was a disciplinarian. I mean, you could look at maybe some things that he could have probably done differently, but who that's the case with anybody.
Exactly.
That's the case with some NBA coaches right now. People are still
Exactly.
talking about mistakes that this coach made in the NBA playoffs. So I mean, what do you want from the man?
Right.
You know?
Right. Because at the end of the day, y'all overall success, it worked. What he had y'all doing worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To build program after program after, you know what I mean? And y'all was feared. Y'all was feared. Like, people, I don't want to play Wilby.
or we gotta play Wilby. We gotta bring our hard hats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to bring your hard hat and bring a lunch.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna be a long day. So your junior year, how would you rate that success?
So my junior year, all right, so it's funny, okay. After my sophomore year, my junior year starts, our preseason picked like number 6 in the NBL, last in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So the preseason rankings was so disrespectful. They was like Kennedy, and at the time Kennedy was number 1 in the state.
Number 1 in the state.
They was number 1 in preseason, number 1 in the state. They had just came off of the state final where they lost to New London.
Okay.
But almost that whole team came back. At least Jerome and Malik and Garnett Petaway, they all came back. And Jerome was the catalyst. Yeah. So they preseason number 1 in the state. So obviously they preseason number 1 in the city and the NBL. So then I think it was like Holy Cross and then Sacred Heart and maybe Crosby, or you could have flipped them. But it was Kennedy was 1. And what I know is that Sacred Heart was above us, Crosby was above us, Holy Cross was above us. Who else? I'll leave out. And Torrington, they had Torrington above us.
Oh man!
And they said so. We picked preseason number 6 or some shit. We like what?
Wow!
What? So disrespectful. So first game of the season, guess who we played? We played the number 1 team in the state,
Kennedy.
Ooh. At Wilby. And we won the Jamboree, mind you.
Oh, okay. And the Jamboree, that's the warm-up, though.
Right, yeah.
That's,
we won the Jamboree. Right?
Okay.
And so Kennedy, the first game of the season, they come to Wilby. We smacked them.
Wow.
Now, all of a sudden, the rankings are going to change now.
Yeah.
Change those rankings now.
Number 1 lost early.
Number 1 in the state lost early. Your preseason NBL city champion lost the first game of the season to the
number
preseason
6.
worst team in the city.
Yeah.
Man, listen. Mark, I remember, man, we before that game, Mark looked me in the face and was like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but more or less he said, we're gonna kick their ass.
Yeah.
We're gonna kick their ass. It's like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
And that's that confidence Mark has had.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Mark, he felt that way all the time, and he played like it.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Wow. Mark was different, man.
So that was That was the catalyst. That was the engine that starts your whole season that year.
Yeah, that first game, man, and it was a close game. It was 66-63. I never forget. We was winning 64-63 by 1 point. Somebody took a shot, missed it. We got the rebound. They fouled Ron Draper. Ron Draper went to the free throw line with a couple seconds left and sank both free throws.
Ooh.
We went up 66-63. They tried to shoot a half-court buzzer beater.
Wow.
We won. We went crazy in Wilby that year. Yep. So now we flipped we flipped the city and the state on its head. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then y'all was pretty much going ever since. Like,
and then we was off and running. So now remember, because the city teams that year, they were all good. All the city teams
everybody was good.
Everybody was good. So there was a point in the season where it was like everybody had like a 12-3 record. You know what I'm saying? And then I think Wilby and Kennedy was tied with like both of us had like 2 losses or something.
Okay.
But everybody else was like
right
one
behind.
game behind. All 3 of the city teams.
Damn.
So we was going into the final season with the possibility of like I don't know if it was a 5-way tie, but it was something crazy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was jumbled at the top. You know, number one, it was just we knew we was coming out.
Yeah.
We knew we was coming out. So we ended up playing. We had the same record as Crosby. I think we lost 3 games that year. We lost 3 games, so we were 17-3. Kennedy was 17-3, and I think the other 3 schools were 16-4.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Crosby, Holy Cross, and Sacred Heart were 16-4. Wilby and Kennedy were 17-3.
The NBL had to be the best league in the state that year.
It had to be. Because we had the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah.
Mind you. Well, preseason number 1.
Yeah.
Right? So we were definitely, it wasn't like we were all bunched up and we was a scrub league.
Right.
Nah, we was bunched up and we had a bunch of talented teams with a bunch of talented players on all those teams. Like Crosby had Haran. That was Haran's team. Holy Cross had Ron Paternostro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Sacred Heart had a bunch of glue guys, man. Hard hat, hard working. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of good dudes, man. They was all solid. And it was a real good league. And so we ended up playing. Wilby and Kennedy ended up playing a 1-game tiebreaker at Crosby at a neutral site.
Okay.
And that was the first time ever in NBL history that happened. Like 2 teams. So we had to play a 1-game tiebreaker at a neutral site. We played at Crosby, and they beat us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know they won the NBL championship.
So now they ended on kind of like a high note. You know what I'm saying? Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean they were preseason number 1 in the state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they edged us.
Mm-hmm.
You know they got the best of us, but we all coming back next year.
Y'all all come.
We all coming back next year.
Y'all all coming back next year.
Coming back. And so we went through, like, we smacked everybody in except 1 game. We went to Holy Cross. We was 19-1. We went to Holy Cross. We got home job. They home jobbed us at Holy Cross. And y'all know y'all did. They home jobbed us.
At Holy Cross.
Man, I mean, T. Davis shot more free throws in the 4th quarter than our whole team shot the whole game.
Get out of here.
Something like that. It was a wild statistic, something like that. You know, but props to T. Davis. Like I'm not taking nothing away from him. T. was nice.
Yeah.
He was nice. But boy, you got close to T. Davis?
Wow.
Bro, I just got here. I didn't even get in my defensive stance yet. We need foul.
Wow.
Yo, the whole team was in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think he shot more free throws in the 4th quarter than we shot in the whole game. One person in the 4th quarter alone took more free throws than our whole team the whole game.
Wow.
Something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it was something wild. So,
wow.
Yeah, so they got us.
Now was that the last game of the season?
Nah, it was like we had like 3 games left.
Okay.
And it was like Holy Cross and then Watertown, Woke, and we beat them by 50. You know what I'm saying? But we had to worry about Holy Cross because we always knew it was always a problem going up in the pit.
With Holy Cross.
Yeah, it was always a problem for us up there.
Okay. Now, that year, y'all finished. You and Marcus led to the NBL title and the CIAC semis.
Yeah.
What would you say, like the start, like when you look back at that whole season, even let's just start from the Jamboree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the junior year, y'all set the stage by winning the Jamboree, then going in and beating Kennedy game 1. Right? This year, is it kind of like the same thing? Y'all, we clear the Jamboree. Whoever we going through, we.
Yeah, we was like 17-1, 17-0. You know what I'm saying? Wait, we lost. I think the first game of the season against Warren Harding. I think we played like in a Manchester Classic.
Okay.
So up in Manchester, and I think we lost to Warren Harding my senior year, like early in the season. I think we did. We lost to them, but then we went like 17-0 in the NBL.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so y'all really did go through everybody.
Yeah, we smashed everybody, and then we smashed Holy Cross at Wilby.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we was beating everybody by a large amount.
Wow.
Like we was winning by 10 at least.
Wow. Okay.
At least 10. And so we beat everybody by at least 10, I think. I'm pretty sure. And then we always knew we would have a problem in the pit because they whistle happy up there when Wilby come up in the jump for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we knew that we was gonna have an issue with them, and we did, and they beat us. I mean, so we had one loss.
Okay.
And in the NBL that year.
Wow. And then y'all made it to the semis.
Yeah. So then we played Kennedy in the second round of the tournament that year.
The second round?
Yeah, we played them in the second.
Ooh.
I think it was the second round. It was second or third round. We had to play them to advance. And now Kennedy, this is Garnett, this is the Pettaway brothers.
Okay,
You know
it's
what I'm
their team.
saying? Their team now, yeah. Garnett is the man. Garnett won, and he won Billy Finn that year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So even though we beat them twice and I scored more than him,
Mhm.
I averaged more than him. Shout out to Garnett. I seen him last night, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he won Billy Finn. But we beat them. And we beat
Okay.
them twice that year. We swept them. And then so the third game was during the state tournament. So now we playing them, they beating us. They beating us, yo. Like we had our heads down. This is a true story. So we had our heads down. I remember we was at the foul line. We was like everything we did, they countered.
Okay.
They was like a different team, like in the playoffs.
Kennedy.
Yeah, man, they was giving us they just wouldn't lay down. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, man, we was at the foul line. It was probably a minute and a half or something like that to go, and we all had our head down like this. And Garnett looked over to Trevor. I don't know if you shout out to Trev. Garnett looked over to Trevor and he said, "Trev, coach said we got practice tomorrow at 2 or whatever." And then they all started like giggling.
Like this game is.
It's over. We got practice tomorrow. So I looked up. I was like, "Mark, you hear that? They think they got practice tomorrow." "Oh, y'all got practice tomorrow? Okay, let's see about that." We ran them off the floor.
Get out of here.
We ran them off the floor. That last minute and a half, we ran them off the floor. At the end of the game, he was like, "Nah, we see y'all at practice tomorrow. Y'all ain't got no practice. That's it for y'all. We see y'all next year."
Wow. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's a true story, man.
Wow.
If they would have just shut up.
Yeah, they had y'all.
They had us because we had our heads down. We was like, yo, they punched us in the mouth this game.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
yo, that one statement
He woke y'all up.
woke us up. Boy, it was like, oh, yo.
And that was like the wrong time to do it, too.
You put the 10 seconds left. You know what I'm saying? It was too much time left. Yeah, we blitzed them, man. I don't know what we got. We just got a burst of energy. They didn't score no more. We shut them down. We kept scoring, still in the ball.
Wow.
And we came back and won. Yep.
Get out of here. Now, where was this game played
That
at?
game was at Wilby.
At
That game was
Wilby.
at Wilby. That's why I think it was the second round.
Okay.
Because we were a high seed and I think they were like 15-6 or something like that. Like
Mhm.
they were like 15-5 maybe, something like that. I don't remember. 16, 17. I don't know. They had lost about a handful of games at least.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a lower seed than we were.
Okay.
But yeah, we played them at Wilby. We beat them, and then we went on to the next round. And then I think we played. I don't even remember, but we eventually got to the semis, and we played East Catholic
Okay.
in the semis, and they had a good team, but we were supposed to win that game. Because, everybody kind of had Wilby and St. Joe's penciled in for the state final.
Got you.
So we had them penciled in. They was on the other bracket, and we had to place East Catholic.
Yeah.
And they upset us. We were supposed to win that game.
Wow.
They upset us. They had I got in foul trouble like in the first quarter, and we just never recovered, man.
Yeah.
They ran a lot of. They had a big man who was hard to stop. And
Okay.
They had some good guards, and they worked well together, man.
Yeah.
And then I eventually fouled out, and that was it for us.
So that's the senior. That's the
Senior
senior year.
Yeah. And then they went and played St. Joe's, and St. Joe's won it all.
Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah.
Wow. Now, did you guys know anybody from St. Joe's? Like,
Yeah.
Do you think you guys
It
it would have matched up well for a good game
Yeah,
for St. Joe's? Okay.
It would have been good. It would have been a good game. Yeah, they had a guard. They had this one guard, point guard. He was nice. We played. I seen him a lot, and I played a lot against him.
Mm-hmm.
We made All State together. He was on the All State team with me.
Okay.
And the Class L team, All State
Yeah.
team. We made all everything together. So we played in a lot of tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
I seen him a lot. I can't think of his name. I put a picture of him on my face. But yeah, it would have been a good one.
Yeah.
It would have been a good one.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. And playing for Wilby at that time, in that era, what was it like in terms of, now I'm getting into like the crowd, like the like getting you amped up. Like, what was that feeling like walking into those gyms? Like, cause back then everybody coming to those games. It's a fashion show. It's who's who. Everybody's because it's a big stage. Almost, especially when you guys play Crosby or even earlier Kennedy. You know what I mean? So that's like who's who of everybody is coming out. You know what I mean? Is that any added pressure, or did that get you psyched up even more?
That wasn't pressure. That was love. That energy was like gas.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was gas. So it was like, and Wilby fans, I don't care. Somebody could argue with me about this, but our fans they had the chants. I still know the guys to this day who used to lead the chants in the bleachers.
In the bleachers?
I'm talking about, some of the funniest, livest kids, man. These dudes, Flute. It was Flute. Shout out to Flute, Larry Crowder. You know what I'm saying? These dudes, man, they was, Sharita Norman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sharita.
You know it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was leading. She was in the mix.
Okay.
So they was bugged out, man. They was bugged out.
Wow.
Yeah. That was it. But all the city teams had good fans. Like Holy Cross, Holy Cross had, they had their fans, like Kennedy. Everybody, like the fans came to those games, man.
Yeah.
But the Wilby fans,
they showing out.
Yeah, they acting a fool, man.
So you lose your last game. Now, what's your mindset now? Are you thinking college? Like, what's the transition for you next?
So, I had a couple opportunities to like play Division II, some Division III stuff, but I didn't really see. I saw Phil play in high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew how high the bar was. I knew that I wasn't on that level.
Okay.
And as you can see, there's nothing 6'6" about me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like basketball was my calling, even though I loved it. I didn't necessarily want to do it all my life for a living. I just didn't. That wasn't my thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate what it did for me. You know, so I even went to I went on some visits and looked at some schools and talked with some coaches and stuff. But I ultimately decided to go to a HBCU. Okay. I went to Virginia State right after high school, and it didn't even really cross my mind to like try out or anything. I just was, I was just all right with what I had accomplished, and I was just moving on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you didn't feel like you still had something left in the tank, or
I
like
did,
to prove?
I did.
Okay.
I did. You know, the funny thing is, I think as I got older, and then I used to play like as I got older and moved away from Waterbury.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had got better. I had got so much better, and I was like, damn, like I could have probably did something, but I just my mind wasn't on that. But I think I could have been, a decent, solid. I could have probably made some money overseas or something.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I got better. I had really got better. It's like I could see physically how my mind and my body was like starting to get on the same page.
Right. Come together.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like stuff that I wanted to do, but I physically couldn't do it. Now I was able to do it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I was quicker. I was stronger. And so I used to play, because by this time, I don't live in Waterbury anymore. So where I was living, places where I was still balling. Okay. And I was balling. Like I was still nice. I was nice. But that was it. Like my high school career was it. And then after that, it was just, periodically balling. I've always stayed in shape, so I always balled. But just,
So one thing, I remember you telling me that was real unique about your team. Was you go from getting some time, with Cassie and them to, you the man, you leading scorer. You said Marcus kind of like the post, but you still, getting busy, making your imprint. Now you said you guys had what, 4 1,000 point scores on that squad.
Yeah, I think we're the only team. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's another one or whatever, but I mean, we have 4 players that scored over 1,000 points on that one team. So Devon Parker came in his freshman year, my senior year.
Okay.
He came in, started, which was a big deal because we was already loaded.
Yeah.
We was already loaded. We was already gonna win the championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he came in and he took a spot.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like Devon came in.
Shout out to D.
Yeah, man. Devon came in as a with his man body, his man strength.
Yeah.
As a freshman, man, snatching everything around the rim. Everything. He was snatching all the boards. So Devon was on that team his freshman year, and so he scored 1,000 points. T-Lot scored over 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Rob scored over 1,000 points. And I did.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, but even more so than that, I think Devon or Marcus and Devon are number 2 and 3 all time at Wilby in points.
Wow. Behind Phil.
Yeah. So they scored a lot more than 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, a lot more.
Wow.
Like I barely got, like me and T-Lot, we scraped 1,000.
Yeah.
Like I got 1,100. I think T-Lot got about that too. But they got like 1,700 and 1,500.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
Wow. So that was like a special squad that y'all had, man. That's you don't in the city don't come across many teams like that.
We was a different team, man. We was a different breed. Like that was by far my favorite team that I was ever a part of. But even when I think about other teams, like comparing that team to other teams, I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. I don't think that team, that 92 Wilby team, get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah.
Because like I said, who else had 4,000 point scores?
Right. Right. Yeah, that's few. If any.
Right.
If any. I can't think of none. That's a lot. So boom, so you transition from basketball. What does your journey lead you to?
So, man, my journey, a lot of peaks and valleys, a lot of ups and downs. You know, so I ended up moving to I ended up going to Virginia State University right after high school. And then if you read the book, you can find out about the troubles that I found myself in Virginia.
Okay.
So I had to leave Virginia, and then I ended up in Atlanta. And my goal while in Atlanta was to go to Morehouse. So I enrolled into a local community college in Atlanta, and during that time, I ended up finding myself in some trouble. Got myself in some trouble in Atlanta, and I ended up going to prison.
Okay.
I ended up going to prison. So I did a 4-year bid in Atlanta. I did 4 years, man, from the age of 22 to 26 years old, man.
Wow.
So some of the prime years of my life.
Yeah.
Over something stupid. Like it was like, I mean, yeah, I got into a car accident, and then I got into a fight, and I broke somebody's nose, and you know, and like I'm not, you know, it was, but that's a misdemeanor. That's not a violent crime. That's not like you shooting somebody, but because it was the political time that we were in, this was 1994, and this was like right when the crime bill had signed into law. They were just trying to lock as many of us up as possible. So I got caught up in that. Ended up serving 4 years in prison. And then, you know, luckily while I was in Atlanta, I ended up stumbling across some people who learned about my case, and then they were able to get me out almost immediately because they knew I had been served an injustice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Wow.
So then once I got out, you know, I'm traumatized, man. Like I'm a young kid, man. I'm 22 years old. I'm 1,000 miles away from home.
Yeah.
In penitentiary in the deep South, the deep racist South. You know what I'm saying? So not in Atlanta, but like in the backwoods. So then, you know, once I got out, you know, just trying to heal myself from that trauma. You know, I ended up, you know, and while I was there, like I had accepted Islam.
Okay.
And while I was in prison in Georgia, I had accepted Islam, and that was really something that really, you know, helped me, man. Helped me heal. It helped me to, like, you know what I'm saying, like put my life in perspective. And you know, I'm forever grateful for that opportunity, man, and that knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that made me the man it really made me the man that I am today. Gotcha. So then from there, I ended up going overseas because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn more about this religion that I had embraced. So that brought me to Egypt. And so I ended up in Egypt. I got married. I had 3 kids. My 3 sons were all born in Egypt. Today, today they are 18, 16. My 18-year-old just finished his first year of college. My 16-year-old is a junior in high school, and I got a 13-year-old who's about to be in 8th grade.
Okay.
So they were all born over there. And, you know, of course, I brought them back with me when we came back. But I was there for 6 years. I was in Egypt for 6 years. Wow. I came back, and then I finished my degrees. I finished my, you know, I got my doctorate degree. I got my master's in business administration. I got my doctorate degree. All of that after incarceration.
After incarceration.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not like you ain't let that trip you up. I mean, it was a setback at that time, but that was the time for you to grow.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was there, you know, I found a silver lining in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a dark cloud, but I focused on the silver lining. So, you know, I'm gonna use this opportunity to educate myself, because when I was locked up, all I did was read.
Okay.
That's all I did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I became a student in jail. Like everybody who would send me anything, they'll send me some books.
Send you some books.
I was telling people to send me specific books. Order this book from this website, and I sent it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I left with like a bunch of books. I didn't leave with them. I donated them. You know what I'm saying? I gave most of them away. But that's what I did with my time when I was locked up. So when I came home, I was already, you know, in study mode and stuff like that. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That you had the opportunity to come out and, you know, build what you've been building on. You know, I want to ask you: was there anyone in particular that you felt had your number, or it was like a true battle when you played against them?
My senior year?
Yeah.
No. Not my senior year. My junior year?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Rob Paternostro, Jerome Malloy. Those two.
Those two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking Rob, man.
Yeah, they talk about Rob too. Like, he was a
He
problem.
was a fucking nightmare, man. He was a nightmare. He would talk shit. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he was pesky. He was like feisty. He was quick. He could shoot. He could dribble. He could pass. He wasn't no chump. He wasn't chumping him.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Nah, he wasn't laying down. You know what I'm saying? We talked shit to him, but he was popping back. You know what I'm saying? So he was definitely and he was nice.
And he was nice.
He was nice. Yeah, he was nice. And you know, and he had a great system that he worked in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, him for sure. And Jerome Malloy, man, Jerome was just an all-time great, man. It's just like this dude, man, like he doing all kind of stuff. Like he's long, he tricky, he got both hands, he got jump shot, he could dribble, he got a deceptive speed to him.
Yeah.
He left-handed. He's Jerome, man. Jerome, my junior year, it was Jerome and Rob Paternostro, man.
Wow.
My senior year, I felt like, can't say that there was anybody that I felt like made me lose sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Junior year, them two.
There was no question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you go through your basketball journey. You start your journey on life. If there's anything you can tell the young kids today that's starting out in athletics, academic and athletics, what are some things you'd be able to tell them, to help them along their journey?
Well, the first thing is you gotta set a goal for yourself. Your goal should be realistic. You should lie to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if your goal is to go to the NBA, you need to understand the work that it takes to go to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to surround yourself with people who can realistically tell you how to get to the NBA.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it was someone that has actually been there, or was close, or you know what I'm saying, or played high level D1, or made money playing ball overseas. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can tap into some of those people, then tap into them. And don't just tap into them, but listen to what they gotta say. So if that's your goal, you know what I mean, and try to incorporate what it is that they, whatever it is that they tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the issues nowadays is a lot of people don't listen. They don't understand the value of, learning.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to be taught, being able to be coached.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So that's key, man. That's key. You gotta be coachable. You gotta be teachable. Because if you're not, the people who's around you trying to coach you, they're gonna throw their hands up. Like they're gonna focus on the kids that want to listen.
That's true.
No matter how talented you are. You
That's
know
true.
What I'm saying? So that's the first thing, man. Make realistic goals, man, and be coachable. I mean, and if basketball, because basketball, even there's a point in time when you're not playing basketball for 30 years.
No, you're not.
You know what I'm saying? You're not. You might get, after college, if you even go to college, you might get a 5-10 year window of playing
After
basketball.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're 30 something. Now what you gonna do after basketball?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about that too. You got to understand, like, it don't have to be education, but you got to have a goal.
Yeah.
So what you want to be doing in your 40s.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got to think long term. You got to think like that.
Yeah. Nah, and that's universal. You know what I'm saying? Any sport, basketball, football,
Especially football.
Yeah, especially football. You know what I'm saying? So you can take that. These kids can take that and definitely, build on that. Surround yourself with the right people. be coachable. You know what I mean? A lot of times, especially Waterbury, I'm saying, there's a lot of times we have so much talent, but they don't want to listen. You can't coach them. You know what I'm saying? And talent-wise, the ceiling's up here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, IQ and, just retaining and receiving information is like down here, and you need all that. You need all that to get to the next level. So, as a just an honor of having you sitting down, chop it up, give your story, your history lesson to us that's listening. You know what I mean? To those that's listening out there, we like to say thank you for all you've done to the city and what you continue to do. And the city's watching. You know what I'm saying? And we proud. You know what I'm saying? We cheer you on from here. You know what I mean? So, without further ado.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
I'd like to give you this.
Yo. That's dope.
Yeah. You can open it up.
Oh, this is dope, yo. Damn.
Yeah. We thank you, man.
That shit gave me chills, man. Appreciate that, for real.
Yes. Hey, if you guys tuning in, man, this is an epic episode we had. We blessed with Mr. Dr. Manny Wright. You know what I'm saying? And get the book, get the merch. It's Heirs.
Heirs of the Great Migration. How the Past Became the Future is the name of the book.
Yes. You guys got to get that. You got to support. You know what I'm saying? And keep our dreams alive. Keep his dreams alive. Keep everything pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? And again, we thank you.
Pleasure,
Thank you
bro.
for all you do, man. Check y'all out.